By 1300, we have a new period of music history. Now, music historians often quibble about, we started up the class. The Dark Ages was referred to in your book as from 400 to 1400. Well, that's baloney. I mean, there was a whole bunch of stuff happening around 1000. Things started being written down at 900, so there's disagreement about these things. My personal feeling is that the medieval period is just from 1000 AD to 1300, and Ars Nova is actually a whole new period of music. It's from 1300 to 1450. Although there are lots of people who would consider the Renaissance to begin at 1300. Some people think the Renaissance begins at 1400. So it's not a cut and dried deal. But anyway, Ars Nova was a term that was invented by Tinctorius, I think, the critic. You were just reading about it. Ars Nova just means new art. There was a new beginning. And it was based on this idea. It was based on this new idea of three moving parts. The organum triplum was two moving parts with a held note underneath. Does that ever stop? There's a word I didn't give you. I don't know why it doesn't occur here. It's tenor. Now, we usually think of tenor as the male voice part. That's not actually what it means. It comes from the word tenere, which means to hold. So, these long notes that were the chant tune held out, that was the tenor. And it so happens that that tenor part was usually in about the same range that became our high male voice part. So that's why how come tenor became what we think of today. But its original meaning was this held note that you see in organum. So that you're responsible for. You need to know that tenor means held note. Okay, tenor, held note. Put it in your notes. Held note. And that's why it would be good to listen to that organum again, because it's very elegant music and has a lot to say. So anyway, Ars Nova begins with three parts. Conductus is the first style of three-part music. Learn this word, homophony. It's defined right there in parentheses, rhythmic unison. So a piece of conductus is a piece in three parts that moves pretty much the same rhythm. And this piece here, the Agnus Dei from the Tournai Mass, this is not on in your CD. This is something of mine. The Tournai Mass is, you know what, I'm going to have to go into all kinds of stuff about the Mass. I think I want to hear this piece first. I think probably what we'll have to do is start with the Mass next class. But I do want to play this piece first. So here's the Agnus Dei from the Tournai Mass. I want you to hear the three parts. The two upper parts moving a little bit faster than the lower part. But I also want you to listen to the harmony. There's a style. See, one of the things we're learning as we take a look at these style periods is that each period has a sound associated with it. If I play you a song that goes la, it's a pretty good chance it's a chant, right? You've heard enough to know that something that's kind of slow and boring and a single line, that's going to be chant. La 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 la. that's going to be a secular song, right? We've heard that much. So I want you to recognize the style of harmony in this particular piece, because this identifies a whole Ars Nova sound world. We're here. Now that piece is not by a known composer. Oops. It's anonymous. In fact, the Tournai Mass is... okay, look, I got time enough to tell you about the Mass, and then we'll quit for today. The Mass is divided into two elements, and we'll get into this. By the way, I hope you're using your little study guides, because these terms are included in your study guide as things to know. Anybody have? Here we go. This music survey study guide. You guys got this stuff now, right? You didn't. The first class you didn't have it, but you have it now, right?
Yes.
Okay, good. All these terms on here. Notice if you go down the list, homophonies on there. Now look down here at the about halfway down, or 2/3 of the way down, where it says mass, proper, ordinary. You see those three terms? You're going to be responsible for those three terms. The mass, of course, is the religious ceremony practiced in the Catholic Church. The ordinary is the stuff that happens every Sunday. Every Sunday you have a Kyrie, a Gloria, a Credo, a Sanctus, and an Agnus Dei. I'll go over this again. No, don't madly scribble it down. The proper is the stuff that happens just once a year, like Christmas, like Easter, like Epiphany, and so on. So, but the settings of the Mass, which were set to music more often than any, were the ordinary. Again, the Kyrie, the Gloria, the Credo, the Agnus Dei, and the Sanctus. And so when we talk about a setting of the Mass, we're talking about the setting of those five texts. The Tournai Mass is supposedly the first complete setting of the Mass in a single style. Maybe they were by other composers, maybe they were by the same composer, but they were in the same style. So this is very important, because this sets up a tone for the creativity that comes later on in this period, if I'm making any sense. So we'll continue next class with the motet, and make sure that you keep up. We're behind a little bit, but there's not hardly any music to discuss in this next class, so it's fine. I kind of figured it would happen this way. So make sure you keep up with your reading. Next class you'll have read Kerman, page 76 through 94, and try to listen to the Josquin music, and I forget what else. Anyway, good class. Thanks very much. Let's quit now.